Hydraulics is the force applied at one point, transmitted to another point using an incompressible fluid. The fluid is usually oil, and the force is usually multiplied in the process. The liquid must stay consistent all the way through it, even when you are pushing it hard at one end or the other. Pneumatics transmits power with a gas instead of a liquid. Compressed air is usually used, but nitrogen or other inert gases can be used for special applications. With pneumatics, air is usually pumped into a receiver using a compressor. The receiver holds a large volume of compressed air, and the system uses it as needed. Filters and air dryers are often used in pneumatic systems because atmospheric air contains airborne dirt, water vapor, and other contaminants. Doing this improves reliability and service of life of the components and system.
Hi, my name's Amaya. I'm a 7th grader from Central Mass, and today I'm going to teach you how to build a hydraulic bridge.
My hydraulic bridge will work by having 2 syringes on each side. When you apply pressure on the plunger of the syringe, colored water will run through the cylinder to the tubing to a cylinder under the bridge that will cause the plunger to go up and raise that side. The same will happen on the other side. To lower the bridge, pull back on the plunger and it will pull the liquid from the cylinder that holds the plunger that is holding the bridge up and causes the bridge to lower. Applying a small amount of pressure at one point transmits a large amount to another point, causing the larger object to raise up. It demonstrates a concept of mechanical advantage, where small forces applied for a time or distance can be used to lift.
These are the materials I will be using to build my bridge. Metal rod, 3 different size wooden dowels, flat piece of wood, scrap wood, 2 different size popsicle sticks, black paper, 4 syringes, vinyl tubing, a straw, and some balsa wood.
The tools I will be using to build my bridge are a drill, a wood burner, a hot glue gun, a ruler, wire snips, and Gorilla Glue. Skill. I'd say that the bridge took a lot of patience and medium amount of skill. It took a long time to build and to decorate, and sometimes I needed another person to hold parts so I could make sure the bridge fit together. You need to know how to use a drill and cut with a handsaw. I had to weigh the Gorilla Glued parts down. I did enjoy it.
Right now, I am putting measurements on my piece of balsa wood, and I'm measuring at 4 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches, and another 4 inches. I'm making 4 12-inch sections so it act as the legs to my bridge. Because I'm not allowed to use a chop saw, my grandfather cut 4 12-inch pieces out for me, so these can be used as the legs for my bridge. I'm using an X-Acto knife to try to cut my balsa wood, but it's really thick, so it's going to take me a while to cut it. Since there is no directions or measurements on how to build my bridge, I have decided on all 4 posts to make a hole 5 3/4 inches up here. Right now, I finished cutting my wood square. So I cut a piece of black paper the same size so I can make the road part of my bridge. So I'm going to glue this on top of my wood block. I'm slipping this piece of metal rod through my bridge legs so that I can space them out at 4¼ inches so I can reinforce them with popsicle sticks. I'm gluing 3 popsicle sticks 1 inch apart to reinforce the posts on my bridge. I'm measuring my piece of straw to the width of my bridge, and I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter so I can put it on my metal rod. I just glued the straw to the underside of the road. I am pushing the metal rod through the straw. I glued 5 sets of 3 popsicle sticks together to make some kind of frame to hold my bridge up. These are the 2 frames I made to help stabilize my bridge. This one is going to go right here on the underside of the road. Notice that after I put my frame on, my road is a little slanted, so I'm going to fix this by putting an extra popsicle stick here just to make it higher. This is how the 2 sides look after I finish putting them all together. I'm going to glue this and this onto a strip of wood on each side to hold them together. The 2 separate pieces of my bridge are now stable and connected, and now I'm painting the water that flows under the bridge. I sponge painted green around my water to make it look like grass, and now I'm putting rocks on the sides of my water so it looks like a rock wall. To make the jack for my bridge, I attached my syringe to a cardboard box and then put a washer over the tip of it and then put my tubing on and Gorilla glued that together. And now it's gonna go here. I'm probably doing this backwards, but I'm filling my syringes with colored water of blue and pink so it can make my bridge go up. Here we go. There's that one, and this one. And now my bridge has colored water. Now I'm going to pull back on these syringes to make my bridge lower. I'm going to do this one at a time. I wanted both parts of my bridge to go up at the same time, so I glued my hydraulic cylinders together using popsicle sticks so that when I apply force, they'll go up together. I'm gluing my pineapple bridge sign onto my bridge. I made a sign that says stop when flashing, and now I'm screwing it in. I
cut a jewelry box in half and covered it with brick paper, and under it there is a washer and it's Gorilla glued down to the board. I don't like how my syringes are flopping around, so I'm going to put popsicle sticks here so I can glue this down so they don't move, and I'm going to cut this. I'm going to show you how my bridge works. Normally a car will just be able to go right across, but when this light goes on, it signals for these arms to come down, which tells the car to stop. You push the plungers on your syringe and both sides of the road come up. A boat would pass through. You would pull the plunger on the syringe down until it gets back to normal. The light would come off, the arms would go up, and the car would go across. I found my information from youtube.com under My Hydraulic Bridge by Danu. Danu only showed a video of the hydraulic bridge done and working for a few minutes. There were no directions, so I made up my own design as I went along. Modifications. One of the modifications I did was moving the straw closer to the edge of the road because the road was hitting the sticks. Modification number 2. I added popsicle sticks to reinforce the bridge. I also glued and re-glued the popsicle sticks to make the road level. Modification number 3. In the end, one of the roads got stuck on the sticks coming down, so I cut a little notch off the wood on the corners near the straw. The difference between pneumatics and hydraulics. Pneumatics is a very clean system. Hydraulics is not clean due to the risk of hydraulic oil leaks from faulty valves, seals, or burst hoses. A hydraulic system uses a relatively incompressible liquid, where a pneumatic system uses compressible air. Hydraulic system has a slow, smooth motion, where a pneumatic system has quick, jumpy motion. Hydraulic system is very precise, and pneumatic systems are not as precise as hydraulics. Hydraulic system is a self-lubricating, and pneumatic system requires a lubricant to be added. A hydraulic system is not as clean as a pneumatic system. A hydraulic system has pressures of 500 to 5,000 psi, where pneumatic systems have pressures of around 100 psi. A water gun uses hydraulic power. When you press on the trigger with a large force, the trigger moves a short distance and water gets forced out the nozzle. A jackhammer uses pneumatics. When the valve goes up vertically, the hammer is down in the ground. When the valve is horizontal, the hammer is up and not digging. In conclusion, I feel I was successful in building my hydraulic bridge that opens. I enjoyed working with the popsicle sticks and also trying different pieces of wood to build my frame. The biggest difficulty was getting something to hold the syringe that pushed up the bridge. I solved it by making a tiny hole in a jewelry box, putting the point of the syringe through the hole, and putting a washer on it. Then I attached the hose and putting Gorilla Glue around it. I learned how to use Gorilla Glue and to use very little because it expands. I also had to make sure the roads lined up. I had lots of fun decorating my bridge. These are the two frames I made to help stabilize my bridge. This one goes